Good morning, New Life. I'm Brooke Sanborn, and this is my New Life story. I grew up in central Iowa with divorced parents who both remarried, and I had a pretty great childhood until probably about eighth grade. And then a series of events kind of took the next 5 years or so and just made things very difficult. I was really lucky. I had grown up going to church. I did not ever doubt that God was real, but I did not appreciate or understand grace or the relationship aspect. And so through that time, though, he really, I just always felt like he was there. I graduated high school and went to college. And while I was at college, I stopped going to church, but primarily because the people I met that went were not people that I would say were kind. Like I still, again, knew God was real, but I did not have a good image of what like his church was. I graduated and moved down to Kansas City. My mom and stepdad and brother and sister had moved down here. Probably a year, I think, into being down in Kansas City, I was in a church service and I was by myself. And the Lord just totally grabbed me and I broke down like crying. I'm sure the person next to me was like, "What is happening?" It was an overwhelming feeling of being loved, but also a relief in letting go of me having to be responsible for my life. Everything about my relationships changed. I had been dating someone at the time, and I knew that it wasn't he wasn't the right person. From that moment on, whoever I married was going to be a man of God, was going to be someone who loved the Lord and was going to, strive to make me better. I ended up kind of switching jobs in the midst of all of that and met met a girl who invited me to go to church with her. I'd been going to church by myself for, several years at that point. And so it was kind of nice to be able to attend with a friend. And I started going to Wednesday night small group at Troy and Leanne's. It was just such a community, and we became kind of a small family, I felt. And we had a coffee shop that we were helping run down the street. And John had been going to Wednesday nights. And we never really talked, though. We always I would be talking to the ladies and he would be talking to the guys, but we would always bump into each other at the coffee shop. And eventually, on his 30th birthday, I left him a bag of shredded cheese on his truck window because that's what I always brought to Wednesday night. And then we just started talking from there. And less than a year later, we were married. About almost 2 years ago, John had kind of like an 18-month journey of several major health issues. And at the same time, our daughter was also having health struggles and going through a lot of testing. And so for 18 months, really, God just kept showing up. Every time I would get discouraged or anxious, I would just feel his presence, and we just reconnected in a way that has been amazing. Just to know that we are partners in this life, and we both, have the Lord at the center, and that's really all we need.